Let's break down what is the final day of questioning in the Supreme Court confirmation hearings of Judge Amy Coney Barrett with attorney and legal analyst Kelly Hyman, who's back and up late with me on the Final Five. Kelly, it's always good to see you.
It's good to see you, Jim. Hope you and your family are doing well.
We're hanging in there as much as we can. I hope the same for you. And we know that it has been, regardless of what's going on in the outside world, there's a lot of business to attend to, whether it's the campaign trail. Right now, we're dealing with a Supreme Court confirmation hearing. And we've had you on the show many times. I know where your political leanings are when we've had you on. We brought you in to talk about Democratic politics in the past. But I want to get your perspective as an attorney, as a legal analyst. The last couple of days, we've had the questioning. It has been contentious at times. What's been your takeaway so far with these confirmation hearings?
I'm really disappointed in the Republican Party and the President Trump. A recent ABC poll came out and the majority of the American people said whoever is elected in November 22 should select the nominee for the Supreme Court, the highest court of the world. But the Republican Party are not listening to the American people. They are struggling. People are struggling personally, professionally, financially. And rather than put those issues in front of the Senate and try and come up with plans to help the American people, they're not. They're pushing this nomination through. And I think it's disappointing that they're doing this rather than taking the concerns of what the American people want.
And you mentioned that, and that is something we've talked about on this show before, the fact that we've had one stimulus bill passed. We've had negotiations that are apparently going nowhere. We know that Mitch McConnell has said he doesn't believe many members of his caucus have the appetite or believe that they need to do anything more when it comes to coronavirus. But we know that Lindsey Graham controls the gavel. The Republicans control the Senate. They set the agenda here. They've decided it's going to be full speed ahead. The question now is, how quickly do we see a vote? We've seen the back and forth here. We've seen Republicans. Some of the questions that have come up, who does the laundry? Ted Cruz, as we mentioned last night, was asking her, does she speak French? They've been handling her with kid gloves. I think that is to be expected when you have a Republican Senate and a Republican nominee, a Republican president nominating somebody to the high court. But this is still going to move forward.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to move forward. And from what I've heard, that they have the votes to pass her through. But it's upsetting for the American people because they are struggling. And rather than deal with this, and as you said, the House bill, it's been since May that, the HEROES Act. I mean, there's the Floyd, stuff to help the American people. Rather than put them first, they're putting politics first. And we need to put our country first rather than politics. And that's why people should get out and vote for Biden.
There were two marches going on in D.C. this weekend. There is a women's march, another iteration of what we saw in 2017. There is another group, too, that is putting together a march. They say that they expect to have many people here as well in support of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. We're going to see different opinions out there. And I asked the organizers of the pro-Barrett march, what would be different? There's a lot of talk about her legal bona fides. What would be different if you waited 3 weeks? They said it's still important. Again, this is it's full speed ahead. The question is, we're not going to see a Brett Kavanaugh situation like we did last time around. So as we talk about this vote, as we approach Election Day, which at this point is like 20 days away, we're going to see a vote on this, Kelly. I think there's really no doubt about that. And I know that there's a lot of push to get Congress to do something, but this seems to be the priority.
Well, I believe it's a priority for the Republicans and the Republican Party. We have to remember the Democrat, it's not. It's for the people. I mean, in May in the House, they put through the HEROES Act to help the American people that are struggling personally, professionally, and financially. And the American people said, let's wait on this.
Yeah.
Let's wait till after the election. But the Republicans are full steam and they have the majority in the Senate. That's why people need to vote.
But it doesn't matter, however they vote on November 3rd, whether they decide to vote for a Republican Senate, a Democratic Senate. Again, the Republicans are going to call the shots all the way until the beginning of January.
Well, yes, that's a really good point. And hopefully people will get out and vote for change, and that will change.
But let's go back to the hearings here, because I know you've gone on the record before with Fox News saying that you believe, and this is how a lot of people believe, that this is not just a Supreme Court confirmation hearing, but this is putting topics like Roe versus Wade out there. We know that abortion rights, women's rights, health care, that's all been brought up here in an open forum. Do you believe that there has been enough information out there where the judge stands that would change any minds here? Because it seems like we all went in knowing that regardless of who President Trump nominated, the Republicans would certainly lean to confirm.
Yes, absolutely. And there's potential. I definitely would say that she is going to, that they'll have a majority and they'll overturn Roe v. Wade. And also, you have to remember that Trump said that he wants to put someone on the Supreme Court that's going to overturn Obamacare. So, she's sad that she doesn't, point her point of views, but I definitely see that coming, and my heart and prayers go out to people in regards to healthcare and from that regard.
I've said this on the show before too. When it comes to Republicans, they did an excellent job messaging. I think in 2016 when it came to saying, look, you're not just voting for a president and voting for representatives in Congress and the Senate, but you're also looking at a judiciary here. Knowing that you had a Supreme Court vacancy going into 2016. So do you believe that Democrats have done a good enough job imparting that to voters, and regardless of how this vote goes, taking the fact that you're not just voting for the White House, but you're also voting to determine who's going to put candidates and who's going to confirm nominees to not just the Supreme Court, but federal courts as well. Mitch McConnell loves to boast 200 plus federal judges nominated, and that's an accomplishment he says that he's very proud of.
Right, but we have to remember when Obama was in office, his last 2 years, how many judges went through. In his last year, he nominated someone to the Supreme Court, and the Republicans came back and said, "Oh no, we're 9 months away. We're too close to election. We can't do this." But people are actually voting right now, but they still want to go ahead and confirm someone. I mean, I think that's disingenuous to say, oh, in 2016 we're going to wait 9 months out and we're not going to help Obama with the nominees, but in 2020 we're going to push these people through. But we have to remember that in regards to Trump, that basically that's been the push of what he's doing. But
right.
We think about the Court of Appeals, and he's nominated 50 people. Do you know how many people are African American? Zero courts of appeal.
When we talk about, Kelly, I have to go. I just want to ask you this, and let's be real here. If the shoe was on the other foot and we had a Democratic president and a Democratic Senate majority, or a Republican president and a Democratic Senate majority, do you think that they would take the high hand here like they've been saying, or do you believe that if the shoe were on the other foot, they would push through a nominee?
I believe they would take the high road. We have to think also about, Abraham Lincoln. It was 27 days before, the election, and he took the high road and basically said, no, I'm going to wait for the election and let the American people. The Democratic Party supports the American people, and the majority of American people say, please wait, let us vote. Let our voice be heard.
20 days until the election. Kelly Hyman, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Be safe, stay healthy.
Final Five back after this.